Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Have I got a review for you today? Dell Inspiron 15 7000 series gaming laptop. I have mentioned this laptop in my channel before. If you've been watching my channel, then you will have heard me mention it. Finally, I'm getting around to reviewing it. You would think I'd have done it sooner. I didn't have to unbox this. In fact, I don't have an unboxing video for you on this because this is my personal gaming laptop. I've owned this for 6 months, which actually predates my YouTube channel. $800 buys you what I think is the best deal in gaming laptops today. I thought it 6 months ago when I bought it. I still think it today. If I had to go out and buy another one today, I would buy this exact same machine. Why? Because you get a ton of everything for a very reasonable price. No, it's not the cheapest laptop in the world. You can find 15-inch laptops for half the money. But let's talk about what's in here. Intel i5 6th generation true quad-core CPU, 4-core processor. Most laptops, including all the $500 ones I've reviewed and all the ones under this price point you'll find, are actually 2-core chips. Most Intel laptop chips are 2-core. This is a true quad-core chip. That's a big deal. 8 gigabytes of system RAM, 256 gigabyte solid-state drive. Oh, thankfully the companies are finally putting SSDs in these things. If you have never used an SSD before, you don't know what you're missing. But I've done SSD versus hard drive comparisons before. I am trying to get my hands on 2 identical laptops that one has a hard drive and one has an SSD, and I can put them side by side as opposed to doing back-to-back videos, which I've done before. We'll see if that works out. But this thing is wicked fast. It comes with a 256 gigabyte SSD built into the machine, wicked fast, and space to add another hard drive. The SSD is on an M2 card on the motherboard, so the hard drive bay is empty, and so you can install another hard drive. I'll be doing a video on that later. NVidia GeForce GTX 960M graphics card. Excellent graphics performance at this price point. I'll say that a couple times during this video, at this price point. Why? Because let me tell you, if you have $1,500 to spend, go buy an Asus Republic of Gamers laptop or an MSI gaming laptop and you'll get more performance. But that's twice the money. At the $800 price point, you just can't beat this. It's a lot for the $800. If you win the lottery, if I won the lottery tomorrow, yes, I'd go out and buy a $2,000 Republic of Gamers machine from Asus and enjoy the heck out of it. But since I didn't and I work for a living, this is my gaming laptop. Anyway, AC Wi-Fi. This has true AC Wi-Fi in it, and it's got an Intel AC Wi-Fi. I can tell you from personal experience playing on this on my couch, not plugged into the Ethernet. I'm actually plugged in here, but using the Wi-Fi at home, playing online games, playing Star Wars The Old Republic online, playing World of Warships online. There are no performance issues at all with the excellent Wi-Fi that's in here. I do have an AC Wi-Fi router in my house, and this is dual band on both 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz, which is important because the 5 gigahertz is far less cluttered, and I do have my router at home set to 5 gigahertz. If you have a dual band router at home, or work or school or wherever you're going to be, and you can set it to the 5 gigahertz setting, you will get excellent performance so long as the range and walls and everything else aren't an issue. But you can try both and see what works best. Excellent Wi-Fi, and of course it does have the gigabit wired Ethernet port built right in, which is also really nice. I will unplug this and turn it around and show you the whole thing in a minute, but 3 USB ports. It's got 3 USB ports, 3.0 ports here, 1 on this side and 2 on this side, all super speed 5 gigabit per second ports. The headphone jack is over here on this side. You have an HDMI out video connector right here, which is actually how I'm cloning it to these monitors. There's 1 cable coming out, and I have a splitter box under my desk which splits the one into 2 and lets me run. I've got 1 monitor facing me, which is why I can see what's going on the screen. What else is in this computer? They claim 4.5 hours average battery life. Let's be honest. I suppose it has 4.5 hour battery life if you're not doing much. Not really. Doing general Windows applications, browsing the web, I would say 3 hours is a reasonable estimate. I'm sure some people get 4, but of course, I always have my screen brightness turned all the way up because I cannot stand dim screens, and this has an excellent bright screen. I'm sure that kills battery power. Gaming, the battery stinks. It really does. If you are playing Grand Theft Auto 5 or World of Tanks or something like that, and the NVIDIA GPU kicks on, if you get an hour and a half out of the battery, you're doing well. If you're really a serious gamer, you got to plug the thing into the wall because that's just how it works. The battery's not large enough otherwise. So, let me pull this up. I've got the page on Amazon with this laptop here, $799.99. All right, let's be honest here. It's 800 bucks. When we look down, we've got the HQ processor. It's an Intel i5-6300HQ, true quad core. You need to see the Q in there in the model number for a mobile part for it to be a true quad core. It says turbo's up to 3.2. No, it doesn't. Maybe if you're, I've never actually seen it hit 3.2. According to Intel, this chip is a base 2.3 clock speed turboing to 3.2. From personal experience, 6 months of personal experience, when you're gaming, you'll get about 2.8 gigahertz out of this chip when you're actually using multiple cores. That's really what it turbos to. But who cares what the clock speed is? It matters what the performance is. And I've got a bunch of gaming performance reviews coming up, which I can already tell you from personal experience will basically play all the current games on the market at decent quality or better at 1080p on this laptop because I've done it. It also has an IPS display, which is really nice. The $500 laptops and less all have TN panels. I just did a review of an Asus laptop about a week ago. $530. It also comes with an SSD. It also comes with an i5 2-core, not 4, but it comes with an i5. It comes with 8 gigs of RAM. But the screen is a TN panel. Now, it was a good TN panel. I've seen worse. It was a good one. But there's just nothing like IPS for contrast, viewing angle, color saturation, brightness. It's a beautiful, beautiful display. It is anti-glare. It's not glossy. Let me scroll this down here. I think that's pretty much, I covered all It weighs 7 pounds. It is noticeably heavier than the $500 machines. That is Zeus that I reviewed a week ago. Which if you look at my list of videos, you'll see wasn't that far ago. That weighs 5 pounds. Keep in mind, this is heavier than the less expensive laptops. What else did I want to say about this? Optical drive. This does not have a DVD drive built in. I've never missed it. I don't use DVD drives anymore. Do you? Well, maybe you do. But just be aware of the fact that the $500 laptops that I've reviewed, that Asus I just reviewed a week ago for $530, that came with a DVD reader and writer. This has no optical drive in it. So if you care about such things, be aware it's missing the optical drive. Bluetooth 4.0, the 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. Is there anything else I want to say? I mentioned it's got Bluetooth. I mentioned it's got the Wi-Fi. It does have stereo speakers, and it does have they claim it has a subwoofer in it. Now, how much of a subwoofer you can put into a machine of this size, I don't know. What else I want to say? Upgrades. Now, this machine has been upgraded. I've put 2 things into this machine. Whether you should or not totally depends on you. These are not what I would consider to be required upgrades, but they are upgrades that I think enhance the usefulness of the machine. The first one is this. This comes with 8 gigabytes of system RAM. It has a free memory slot on the bottom that takes 1 minute to access, and I will do a video showing how to do this. But what you're looking at on the screen is an 8 gigabyte memory stick from Crucial. It is $26, and it will double your system RAM to 16 gigabytes. It also doubles the performance of your RAM because the memory as it comes is single channel mode. When you put in a second stick of memory, it switches to dual channel mode, which doubles the throughput of the memory. It doesn't double the latency doesn't change, but it doubles the transfer rate of the RAM. Will you notice a big difference in performance? Not really. In a few very specific cases, you might, but it all helps. It helps in multitasking more than it helps in anything else. But for $26, hey, you know, that's a pretty inexpensive upgrade for an $800 machine. The other upgrade is this. I put a 2 terabyte hard drive in here. And the nice thing is you don't have to mess around with Windows or cloning or doing anything else. Quite literally, you pop the drive in, you screw it in, you turn Windows on, you format the drive, and you're done. The whole thing is so simple. I will be doing a video of that to show you how easy that really is. Why did I add a hard drive to a machine with a solid state drive? Because 256 gigabyte solid state, as nice as it is not large enough to actually install very many games. Grand Theft Auto 5 takes 63 gigabytes. You can't install very many of those without running out of that SSD space. In fact, I have so many things installed on this computer, I'll go ahead and pull this up. My C drive has got about 40 gigabytes free out of 225 gigabytes. You never get the full space because of the way Windows formats and how they call it. My hard drive has 764 gigabytes free of 1.8 terabytes. It's a 2 terabyte drive, but it actually formats to 1.8 because of reasons of the way you know, a 1 terabyte drive isn't really 1 terabyte, it's closer to 900 gigs. I've got over a terabyte of games installed on the hard drive. Now the other option would be to put an SSD in there. You could absolutely, if you want, put in I'll pull up the list of SSDs. I actually like this one right here. I've mentioned this in a deal alert before. $216 gets you a SanDisk Ultra 2 960 gigabyte SSD. That's a fast one. Is it the fastest drive in the world? No, but it's in the top 10 or 20% of drives. The SanDisk Ultra 2 is a good drive. 960 gigabytes for $216, excuse me. That's double the price of a 2 terabyte drive for half the space. So basically it's 4 times the cost per gigabyte of a mechanical hard drive. Do you care? Do you care about the performance of your games? Do you want Battlefield 4 to have a 30-second level load time versus a 2-minute level load time? That's a personal choice. If you care about such things, put an SSD in there. If you don't, now the other thing you can do is maybe you only have 2 or 3 games that you play regularly. I like to have everything installed. You can put maybe your most critical games onto the SSD and put the rest on an external on the hard drive, or just not add a drive at all. I just want you to be aware of the choices and the options and kind of get the thought process going. Okay, when I get this with 256 gigabytes, I can only install a handful of games before I start running into space issues. What am I going to do? Am I going to add a mechanical hard drive, either $60 for a 1 terabyte drive or $100 for a 2 terabyte mechanical drive? Or do I want to add this, or you could add, for about $120, you could add a flats. Actually, they're cheaper than that. If we go to 480, here's a SanDisk SSD, 480 gigabytes, $110. So if you want to add a decent amount of space to install games, maybe you don't need to install 47 games at once. $100 buys you a 480 gigabyte SSD. You can put that in there if you want, and now you got all the room in the world to install a reasonable number of games. Personal choice, but I just want you to think about what your options and choices are. The process of installing a drive into that bay is the same whether it's an SSD or a hard drive, because they're both 2.5-inch drives. The connectors are exactly the same. None of that changes. I will be doing a Windows performance review as well as a video. I'll bring the camera closer and I'll show how to install memory and the hard drive into this machine. I will link to those in the description below. I will also have a series of gaming performance videos coming out with this machine to show you all those games I mentioned and some others over the next week or two. Now, was this video helpful to you? Like it. Was it not? Well, you know what to do. Remember to subscribe to my channel, the big red button down there, and if you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. As always, remember, If you decide to buy this machine and you want to support my channel and you want to see lots more videos like this, please do me the favor of using the links in my video description below. They are affiliate links. I get paid a small commission. It is my primary funding source for these videos. I don't get any sponsorship. I don't get any free products, and it would really help me out. Now, I mentioned before, hopefully you watched through all that. Let me close all of this. I'm going to hit power and shut down. I promised you I would show you the machine. Is it off? Not yet. Waiting for the light to go out. Almost. Waiting. There it is. Here. Now I'm going to unplug it. I'll show you the ports. This in the side, by the way, is my wireless dongle for my Logitech keyboard and mouse. 7 pounds. Nice pretty red Dell logo right there. It's got red accents all over. The heat exhaust ports, by the way, all gaming laptops that have dedicated gaming cards get hot when you're playing because the graphics card actually pulls more power than the processor does. The vents, the fans, blow out the back. They don't blow out the side, and the base of it stays relatively cool. I will tell you, it gets hot right here along the back. This is the back of the machine. This is the front of the machine. Right along here, it gets hot, and these exhaust out and down. If you like to game with this on your lap, you probably are going to want to have some type of tray or platform to put it on. I actually have a piece of wood, a laminated piece of wood that I actually game on when I'm sitting on the couch because this gets a little bit warm when you're gaming and it gets uncomfortable after a while. So those are the vents that exhaust the heat out the back. On this side here, these are air intakes, by the way. Air comes in, I think it actually comes in the bottom, but it also comes in the side and then it gets exhausted out the back. Your power connector is right here. Your 2 USB 3.0 super speed ports are here, along with your headphone jack, and that's all that's on that side. On this side, you've got your Kingston lock. If you're in school, for example, and you want to get a security lock to stick in there, that's what that is. You've got a full-size RJ45 gigabit Ethernet port. You've got an HDMI out port for full HD 1080p video out. You've got another USB 3.0 super speed port. You've got an SD media card reader, and that's it. As I mentioned before, there's no optical drive to this. Here's what else is nice about this. In fact, I'll do it this way. I'll turn it this way. Because it weighs 7 pounds and it's well built, no pressure on the laptop is required to open that. On the less expensive machines, on that Asus $530 machine I reviewed, if you try to lift the top up, it just brings the bottom with it. You actually have to almost use both hands and separate them. This is secure enough that this will stay in place when you bring it up. It does have a webcam built in, which is right up here. It's not the best webcam in the world. It's fine for Skype, but that's about it. So it does have a webcam right here. What else do I want to mention? In terms of angle, here, I'll show you this. The screen will go angled all the way back that far, which is awfully far. I love it. As I mentioned before, this is my personal laptop. I didn't buy it to review it. I'm not selling it. I'm keeping it. I love this thing. $800, you can't beat it. Thanks for watching my video, and I will see you next time.